Okay, I'm back in Illustrator again in Essentials Classic as usual. Now, we've seen the basic rules of the pen tool, but now let's practice with a little bit so we can get it to really do what we want. So first of all, I'm gonna get my hold down on my pen tool and go to the little tear off thing here. So I have these tools available easily if I need them. And I'm going to turn off my fill color. Okay, I would recommend always doing that. And I'm going to change my stroke color so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better, I think. But you guys just stick with black. I think that'll be fine. All right. So first off, let's try writing our names in cursive. Now, I know some of you guys never learned cursive, but you know, just kind of like fumble through it anyway. It doesn't really need to be legible. It's more a matter of trying to make controlled, smooth curves. So watch this. I'll do me first. And if you want to end the line, right, you just hit escape. And like when you do it, make sure you don't put this right on top of something. Like we said before, try to never click where there already is something. Just make it a little bit short there. So. And you'll notice I'm doing mostly short horizontal drags wherever possible. Sometimes not, but most of the time. Something like that. Ta-da! So, okay, so you guys try it, see how it goes. All right, pause the video, do that. Now, probably what you discovered is that, you know, if this class is like they usually are when I'm there in person, the results are terrible, okay? So you just learning the rules of the tool isn't enough, right? We really need to practice with it. So that's what we're gonna do now. Gonna get rid of this junk. And what we'll do is we'll write rows of letters, okay, that are all kind of similar, and it'll, trust me, it works pretty good just to learn how to, I don't know how to say it exactly, but how to make the pen tool respond in a predictable way, okay? It's made to, like, people have tendencies, like I said before, where when they pull out the Bezier or the tangent, they want to follow the direction of the curve as opposed to letting it sit on balanced on the curve, and this will overcome that. All right. So first up, and when we're done with all these rows of letters, this is a thing we'll hand in. So keep them as you do them. Okay. So first off, let's do a row of lowercase i's. Okay. So I just start with a click on the top. I go down to the bottom of the letter and click and drag horizontally. Okay, not really long, not super short, not the wrong way. Okay, just a short horizontal drag, and then click at the top. And then that's it. We're just going to keep doing that same thing. Click and drag to the right, click at the top. Click and drag to the right, click at the top. Click and drag to the right, click at the top. I have these pointy things up here just because I've made a thick line weight of 3 points, but you guys don't need to do that. I can fix that in the stroke palette. Okay, you know, you can run off or whatever, but since we are going to hand them and try to keep them more or less inside here, all right, we can always scale them down afterwards. And if they come out crappy, just delete them and try another set until you get some. And you'll probably tend to go, you know, kind of like stuff that looks like this, and just try, as you go along, just try to make them as even and regular as possible. And you'll note your tendency also will be to do this, right? When you make that I, the hump in the bottom, people always want to do this, right? Pretend this thing is a little airplane and you're playing a video game, and those are the two wings, right? and it's full of screaming passengers, and we're trying to land that thing on the runway with the wings even, okay? Just pull it like that. Okay, so we got a row of eyes, right? So do that. And then, whoops. Okay, so that's gonna be my eyes. I'll just leave that here. And again, escape when you get to when you want to drop the tool. All right, let's do lowercase e's. So when we're making a corner, that's just a click, right? And when you have a smooth vertex, that's a drag. So e's don't have any corners. So just start with a click and then drag to the left. Doesn't really matter where you start, top, bottom, whatever, as long as the row letters looks good. Drag to the right, drag to the left, drag to the right. Short horizontal drags. Shorter is easier. When you do them long, it gets loopy and stuff gets really stretched out. Okay. And there's no clicks, right? Don't make them like this. That's not an E. Okay. To the left, to the right. And if you make it good and it runs off the page like that, just go to your selection tool. You should see the bounding box and scale it down. Hold shift when you scale it down so it doesn't get distorted, and we can get some nice looking E's in there. Those are not nice looking E's, but I was just demonstrating. All right, so do that. And then, and as we go through these, after I do one, pause it and then go and do one yourself. Next, we'll alternate between these two, E's and I's, okay? So here's an E, and here's an I. Okay, to the left, to the right, click on the top of the I, to the right, to the left, to the right, click, to the right, to the left, to the right, click, okay? So something like that, E's and I's. Okay, next one up, we'll fill the page here with stuff like this. And whoops, like I said, that you can, if stuff's kind of big, you can just scale it down so it all fits in. As you work, and that way as you're working, you don't have to worry so much about staying on the page. What I say, n's, right? Lowercase n. Okay, so that's going to be it's going to hump on the top and then just a click in the middle. So it's sort of like an I upside down. Okay, but then there's a hump in between. So I click in the middle of the bottom of the N, and then to the right, to the right, to the right, click, to the right, to the right, to the right, click. Short horizontal drags. Gonna get that on a t-shirt. Okay, and then escape at the end. All right. Yeah, looking good. Let me fix my stroke here. Just because I'm using the fat line, I need to do it so it's not all pointy looking. If I change these things, yeah, that's better. All right, let's put them all together and write N-E-I-N, okay? It'll look like we're yelling in German. N-E-I-N. Okay. N's have 2 humps, M's have 3 humps. Let's do a few of those. Whoops. So if you spaz out like I just did, and you will probably, don't delete the whole, if it's been looking good, don't delete the whole thing. Just remember, Control Z undoes one thing. You can just, if I want to back up a few, just Control Z. It's way easier than starting all over again from scratch. Okay, those are good. Okay, so you can see that we're doing all letters that are just that we can do with short horizontal drags, like everything with just like a hump or a loop um, is pretty straightforward. Now, and then we're going to try to like write our name again and see if we improved here. So that's kind of our goal. And the speed at which I'm recording this is pretty quick, but this will take you a while to get these looking good. So let's plan on relaxing and spending a little time with this. Some people might depend on how much video games you play or something like that. I'm not really sure, but some people pick this up very fast. But most people, it takes some practice. Okay. A few other random letters that don't really follow this. I can cover a few that we can try. Like a lowercase l is just like an E. An M is just like an N, except it has one more hump. Let's try a lowercase k, okay? This looks kind of complicated, but most people, if they've mastered this, what we just did, they find k to be not too hard and kind of rewarding. So we go up here and we make it like it's a little e, right? And then you go down here, and remember, this is an important one where you make sure you don't click on the thing, because that'll change the tool and drop the line and all kinds of mayhem. So it's just like that. So it's, and then I click and drag to the right and to the right. Okay. So I go up here to the left and then click to the right, to the right. Drag like that, and not putting this pen on anything. And not here either, to the right, to the right. And, if they get really tall or really wide or whatever, try to just work to a point where everything's more or less even, okay? And controlled looking. I'm still doing it with mostly horizontal drags. If you want to try some letter K, let's see. K, if you did the H, K is really easy because it's almost the same. Except instead of going down here, I just make a little click. Again, not on top of the thing. I should have made it a little bit bigger, perhaps. That didn't look too good. Yeah, those are Ks. Okay, so let's try a few of those. Some things like lowercase r is easy to do. Okay, that's just kind of like that is what lowercase r looks like. Now, lowercase a is sort of a pain. It's because you can't do it with short horizontal drags, and also it kind of like runs back along itself, right? So the way you would do an A, let me work over on the side here. I'll do a big one. So what we're always doing with these is putting our vertex in the middle of the curve, right? So the A has well, let me just draw it first. I usually draw this on the smart board in the classroom. So I put this in the middle of this curve, and then here's the corner, so I'm just going to click. Then the next curve is this big swoopy thing here. So I'm going to put it in the middle of that, okay? And, it's a little cheesy looking, but this is where when you're writing, the pen runs back on top of the same line. And I'm going to go up here, and I'm not going to put it right on there, but I'm going to miss it slightly. Okay, so if I do a few. Okay, that's lowercase a. Just like the H is kind of curiously rewarding to draw, the A is curiously unrewarding. Okay, now so there's another way to do it though. Let's see. So, and this is breaking a rule I've been telling you. I've been saying don't click at anywhere where there already is something, but here we'll break that rule. Okay. So I'm going to start like this, and then instead of in the middle of this curve, I'm going to go all the way out to the point, right, where we would normally just click, but this time I'm going to drag to form the back hump of the A. Now, if I click right on this point again, it's going to throw away the tangent, the future tangent, right? So it becomes, this point becomes both a curve and a corner point. All right, so here's a place where this is useful, okay? Because it's just more convenient to drag on this point. And now I go to the middle again, like that. And I can make a somewhat nicer looking A. Okay, so I go out here, just a click. All right. So try a few A's down here on the bottom, okay? And let's hand this page in right here, okay? So do the usual thing where you do, file, export, export as, a JPEG, use artboards, right? And export it to wherever you are, your local disk, and then I'll make a form to hand that in, just so we can see that we did that, all right? Now you don't have to hand this part in, but what I want you to do now is to try writing your name again, right after we just practiced this, and see if it comes out better, okay? It pretty much always does. So I'm assuming that this probably took you about an hour to get it looking good. That's kind of typical because I've done this in the class quite a few times. So that's a good amount of practice. If yours came out really bad, okay, then just this is kind of like good exercise. So just keep trying to write your name or write these rows of letters until it's comfortable for you, because again, the pen tool, it kind of stays with us throughout the class, and if you have a hard time with it, it just makes the class harder. So see if you can get it, okay, and hand this page in.